Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the reality we know? Have you ever questioned the impact of horror on the human mind and how it can distort our perception of reality? Today, we'll dive into the terrifying universe created by the channel Dr. Nowhere, where we will explore a series of horrifying entities through transmissions, beings that can cross the screen and even influence those who watch them. Don't forget to leave your precious like and subscription to help the channel grow and reach more people. If you're unsure what to comment, feel free to write a simple meow in the comment section. Without further ado, let's begin with the Boiled One phenomenon and the disturbing world of Dr. Nowhere. This series of videos starts with TOE-starving.help, where we witness a strange humanoid creature pounding on the screen, slowly cracking the glass as it tries to break free. The story continues with the next tape, where a frightened boy begins recording the creature on his TV, pleading with it to leave him alone and asking what it wants from him. Despite his efforts, the creature manages to shatter the screen and break through. The boy tries to hide, but the creature quickly finds him and ends his life. Authorities found his body intact without a single scratch. What method did the entity use to kill him? For now, it remains a mystery. The next video presents another television broadcast, a program about the fear some people experience when going to sleep, turning off all the lights in the house. During this process, they feel as though something is watching them, following them from the shadows. But don't worry.
There is nothing that follows you after you turn off all the lights in the house.
We don't know much about this creature, as its appearance is brief. Now we return to the first creature, as it claims yet another victim. The video begins with a TV program of some sort, but soon it's abruptly cut off to reveal a strange, beating heart. The messages in the program might actually be directed at the creature, and if you look closely, the walls are the same. This entity seems to resemble a small child. However, here comes the crucial part. We see a chat room where a boy receives a message from a friend he hasn't spoken to in a long time, probably the guy of the first video. As the conversation progresses, things start to get strange, with the supposed friend trying to convince him to start a video call. Despite the boy's initial refusal, he eventually agrees, unaware of the true intentions behind the user. Dominic 9999. The autopsy of the body reveals that everything inside him had vanished completely. The next tape reveals much more information, explaining the possible origin of all these creatures, the Boiled One phenomenon. It all begins with a set of instructions. You must have earplugs, paper, a pencil, and the Christian Bible open to Psalms 91:10. If you hear anything unusual, be prepared to cover your ears. You also need to be ready to write the following text on the paper, although it seems an entity is interfering with the tutorial. After writing, you must recite the passage from the Bible mentioned earlier. If you still see disturbing images in your mind, your only option is to pray, though you can also call the authorities for help. In the late 90s, a documentary series aired about the flora and fauna in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, the show ended when its host died in 2001. After that, something strange happened. On August 13th, 2003, the 13th episode of the series began, airing out of nowhere. This episode talked about the Tree of Heaven, a type of poisonous oak. However, the signal was interrupted by a strange being called Fen 228.
Cause a manifestation of my being in the future. You will be asleep in bed. I will be there and watch over you. When you wake, I will not be able to move any part of you. When the doctors eventually find you, they will not see me, but you will, and I'll see you too. Forever, I'll see you.
At first, we might think this entity is related to sleep paralysis, a condition where a person, upon waking or falling asleep, feels conscious but is unable to move or speak. This episode can last from a few seconds to several minutes and is often accompanied by visual or auditory hallucinations. The person may experience a sensation of pressure on their chest or feel like they're being watched. But no, it's far worse than that, as we will see later. After this entity spoke, videos of hospital beds started overlapping with the creature's face. Most people recall that Fen 228 spoke in English, but even non-English speakers understood everything. Around 530 residents of southern Pennsylvania watched the broadcast. Some started feeling strange things, like constantly seeing the entity's face everywhere, even hearing its voice. One person claimed that the creature's face was inside their brain, feeding on their spine. Others reported hearing trumpets before falling asleep. Unfortunately for them, this was only the beginning. After the interruption, Ephrata ordered the NERC to cut the power supply to prevent the broadcast from escalating further. During the event, Ephrata took the opportunity to erase any trace of transmission 813, including articles, news, and anything online related to it. However, the damage had already been done. 12 days later, more than 500 people fell into a pseudo-coma, leaving them completely immobile except for their eyes. They could blink, see, and feel everything around them. The US government began investigating this strange occurrence. A common factor among all the victims was that they had watched transmission 813, and although they couldn't speak, they communicated using Morse code through their eyelids. Most interviews revealed little, while others led to the patient's elimination. However, after some time, Ephrata was informed about a peculiar patient, an elderly man named Job Zamperini. Zamperini, a war veteran, communicated fluently in Morse code. His grandson had taken a terrifying photo in their backyard, leading the family to believe the place was haunted. So they called a priest to bless it. Looking at the photo doesn't seem to be dangerous, but it's still recommended to use blue light glasses or view it from a distance. Zamperini claimed that an unsacred entity was with him and would harm him if he described it or revealed what it was telling him. The following is a recording of Officer T. Gomez's interview with Job Zamperini.
Hello, Mr. I'm Officer Gomez. Hope you're doing well today. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions regarding your condition and possibly unholiness within your home that your family had mentioned? Okay, first and foremost, did you notice any onset symptoms before you lost complete mobility of your body? Face, huh? When did you begin seeing this face? Interesting. Many of the people who have seen the broadcast that you saw on August the 13th described having vivid and upsetting hallucinations. Do you think this is something your brain has created? Can you please describe this face to me? I still don't see it. Have you been having any hallucination aside from the face? I'm sorry to hear that. Are these screams constant? Thank you. You shedding light on this is helping more than you know.
Listen closely. Do you hear it? You will hear the laughter of thousands as the sky opens up. You will hear the trumpets play their happy sounds. The scalding blood of life will pour down onto us all. Together, we will be still. Together, a feast fit for a king. Together, welded by love and purest connection. Be still. And be still.
The entity speaks of the approaching apocalypse, that the trumpets of the end times will sound, and the skies will tear open with rains of blood. Let's talk about some theories circulating out there. The two Japanese phrases seen in the video, fear of birds and fear the one and only Watanabe bird, may reference a Japanese war criminal, Mutsuhiro Watanabe, nicknamed the Bird. This man relentlessly tortured his victims, but was never punished for his crimes. One of the prisoners he tormented was named Louis Zamperini. After surviving the torture, Zamperini became a devout Christian, drawing a direct correlation. The entity could be Mutsuhiro Watanabe, and Job Zamperini might represent Louis Zamperini. Another theory highlights the resemblance between the creature and Jesus Christ with the crown of thorns, perhaps hinting that Fen 228 is, in fact, the Antichrist, who will bring devastation upon the world. The next video shows a person who, unable to sleep, decides to go to the bathroom only to find that something was already there, waiting. We need to analyze the tape closely to understand what's happening.
Why did you leave me here? I never existed to you. I know you heard me. It was all your fault.
The central theme revolves around guilt and remorse, where the protagonist encounters a white entity that represents the guilt over their baby's death, suggested by the crib later occupied by the creature. It's possible the protagonist left their baby alone in the bathtub, leading to the child's drowning. With the phrase the entity utters, "I never existed to you," we can theorize that the father or mother was negligent with their baby, perhaps even wishing to get rid of it at some point. The entity's awareness that it was heard implies the baby cried and screamed but was ignored. A truly heartbreaking story. The following video is simply a commercial advertisement to promote merchandising, though it also reinforces the theory of the Antichrist. In the second to last video, a strange entity welcomes us to the Oddity Compendium, where we will learn about bizarre phenomena both within and beyond our universe. These phenomena range from life forms, products, and organizations to anomalous events and periods of time.
Important. The following information has been acquired from realities that may be separate from the one you are currently residing in. Please be aware that knowledge or comprehension of incompatible information may result in a conscious reality fracture.
A conscious reality fracture is a phenomenon that can occur when an individual perceives material originating from an incompatible reality. Symptoms include migraines, intense deja vu episodes, and, in extreme cases, instant death. In other words, learning something from a reality other than our own could be fatal. Next, we are told that today, we will learn that, first, your own bed might be wishing to devour you. Sleep with a fan on if possible. Second, if one day you go downstairs and your family has disappeared, avoid interacting with the headless corpses you find, as non-existence is contagious. Finally, if you find yourself in the middle of nowhere and are suddenly flooded with brilliant ideas, return immediately. Enlightenment is dangerous, and resisting it could be fatal. The first oddity they discuss are the flesh beds, a subhuman parasite that resembles a mattress. Its body, when in a dormant state, can easily be mistaken for a regular mattress, but cutting into it reveals organs, appendages, and a humanoid head. The flesh beds were discovered in the 1960s when a mattress company gave away some unsold products, resulting in a series of disappearances. These parasites activate with body heat and, once awake, devour their host. The first victim was a 19-year-old girl named Alice. Her half-digested remains were found inside the mattress after it was sliced open. Though their exact origin is uncertain, it's theorized that they are possibly an ancient group of Homo sapiens that fused with a mystical network thousands of years ago. Next, we have the headless macrocosm, a sub-reality almost identical to Earth but inhabited by headless corpses. These bodies, although dead, breathe faintly and their hearts beat erratically. Curiously, when humans interact with these corpses, they gain a certain level of consciousness. Approximately 2,393 humans exist in this sub-reality, having arrived there after falling asleep under strange circumstances in their world. If humans accidentally interact with these corpses, the bodies may awaken. One man, while walking through a field, accidentally brushed against one of the motionless bodies. This body, which had previously been immobile save for its convulsions, sprang to life, ripped off the man's head, and placed it on its own neck. We are also introduced to the disease of non-existence, an affliction carried by these corpses. It is a disease that can affect anyone, and once it takes hold, the headless macrocosm deems you fit to reside in its endless plains, filled with others who met the same fate. This sub-reality seems to function as a dumping ground for things the universe considers useless, a deeply disturbing concept. The next oddity is the obelisks of enlightenment, monolithic entities ranging from 3 to 45 meters in height, residing in remote locations around the planet and even on the moon. These obelisks, which levitate and always point north, are revered for their vast knowledge. They emit an angelic chant that, when heard, grants a massive increase in intelligence. However, this knowledge is so overwhelming that it can cause the human brain to spontaneously combust, or in luckier cases, allow for a profound understanding of the universe before the individual is absorbed by the obelisk. It is not fully understood how these anomalies came into being, but they seem to be ruptures in the fabric of reality, similar to black holes. Many speculate that these cracks were opened by ancient giants, dissatisfied with the lack of knowledge on Earth. Humanoid skeletons of enormous size have been found near the obelisk sites, supporting this theory. When the obelisks made their debut on Earth, they aided in the construction of the pyramids of Giza by providing understandable levels of sacred knowledge to the Egyptian pharaoh, who was drawn to the desert by the sound of the obelisks. This knowledge helped develop a possible method for building these grand tombs, which took the form of pyramids as a tribute to the divine structures. We are then shown a message, perhaps foretelling the end of the world. Finally, we are introduced to an entity known as Philbus. All of this about Philbus seems to be just a joke on the creator's part. At the end of the video, we are asked to close our eyes, as they will now carry out a cleansing process to prevent us from leaving this experience with any ailments mentioned earlier.
for attending Dr. Nowhere's Office of Wonders. We hope that you enjoyed your stay.
The final available video seems to simply be a compilation of drawings by Dr. Nowhere, so it seems we've reached the end for now. All of this is very strange, don't you think? It feels like everything is somehow connected. What if all of this is because of the Boiled One? Let's remember its words. My theory is that everything before and after the Boiled One phenomenon is the result of the apocalypse caused by this entity. The figure of the Boiled One has a dominant presence in the universe that this channel is documenting, and it's plausible to think that all of these entities and anomalies could be consequences of the apocalypse it triggered. If the Boiled One is truly the origin of these phenomena, then every entity, every creature, could be part of the devastation that follows its appearance. I mean, this seems to be a recording, so it's not far-fetched to think that we are witnessing a universe that has already collapsed, or is in the process of doing so. It's like the pieces are falling apart slowly, and we, as spectators, are witnessing the last remnants of this reality before its complete dissolution. We also have this other phrase that suggests the worst is yet to come, implying that these entities and events are just the prelude to something far more catastrophic. What do you all think? On this channel, we'll continue to document all the content as it comes until the very end. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. It would help me out a lot. Every like is one more coin to escape poverty. And if you're interested, I have a Fiverr profile where I create high-quality music with artificial intelligence for your projects. Like my voice. Wait, what?